Boom! Welcome to Friday Night Aces, everybody. It's Friday. Thankfully, it's been a long week. Wow, yeah, a long week of work. Glad everybody is here tonight. I am rolling solo. So Jesse's swamped a little bit too with work this week. Myself, I am in the logistics field, so as you know, if you're on the East Coast, we got pelted with a serious snowstorm, and that made my life hell. So I apologize if I seem a little tired tonight and a little more grumpy than usual. But welcome aboard. We are back, and we are going to talk about a few different things tonight with our upcoming convention circuit stuff, our upcoming Aces Legacy format that we're going to be doing at these conventions, and we'll touch on our campaign. And I will also talk a little bit about hobby stuff, because I know some of you guys were asking me to do videos. We'll go over that as well, and how I might present that to you guys in the near future, teaching you guys how to build all this cool terrain that we do here at the studio, myself and Josh. Okay, so Josh has got some pretty cool stuff he's been working on too. I was actually going to put it on tonight, but I'll let Josh show the world that he's got some really cool stuff he's made. That said, we'll start with the campaign. So campaign ended last week. The network was successful in defeating the Clan Jade Falcons in the Scouring Sands Final Sortie 19. Pretty much a rout, and that was mostly, I would say, the route because of you guys, the viewers. Of course, for your donations to chip in to help our dice rolls with edge points and adding edge abilities. So we ended up finishing with about 3,120 points, I believe it was. I did the math. We repaired all the mechs and up to and paid for the Bane, but I'm going to save the die roll for the Bane till Jesse's back, so we can do that together, because Kermendi is going to progress from piloting that galleon tank, is what it was, into the clan missile boat, the Bane 3, or Kraken, if you want to call it by the inner sphere turn. So as far as the campaign goes with the network, we are going to progress into further campaign stuff that we're going to do that is based on the Aces Legacy sorties that we have been designing for various conventions and live events. So Jesse has been doing a play test for the Legacy stuff, or going to be starting a play test, at Harry Tarantula on his Wednesday night games in February. And we are actually going to be play testing these sorties and scenario that I have designed for Adepticon. So speaking of conventions, we will walk it back a week ahead, and conventions that we got coming up for 2026. That will start mid-March. We will be at Toronto Comicon. There is a game. We run the games room at Toronto Comicon. It'll be us in there, along with the D&D crew. D&D crew runs, of course, Dungeons & Dragons, and we run Aces, live events, classic grinder table, and this year we are going to roll out our Aces Legacy format. We've talked about this in the past, Aces Legacy. What it is it's, I would say, one step beyond what you've seen in Scouring Sands. As you know, what we do at Fox Network, we like to push the envelope with everything we do. We love the rule of cool. So I have taken on the first convention writing, and I'm really pushing how we can use waypoints, how players can interact with the game, and how the sorties are set up a little differently than you would have seen in Scouring Sands. I really want to try to maximize the narrative experience and show examples of how you too can create your own stuff at home in order to do that. I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat here. Kermendi, how you doing tonight? See, my illegitimate son is in the chat as well. How you doing there, Beskar? How's the things going down in Australia, buddy? I miss you, even though I've never seen you, thankfully. That said, Legacy. Okay, so we're going to be doing Legacy, a play test at Toronto Comicon. Toronto Comicon is not a traditional gaming convention. It's a nerd culture convention, obviously, so you're going to have a lot of comic book stuff. You're going to have a lot of artists there. You're going to have a lot of film stuff at that convention. And, of course, you do have the gaming area. Because it's not a convention that caters directly and specifically to gamers, it's not going to be as easy for us to have a sign-up format like we would have maybe at an Adepticon or a Gen Con or Origins or something like that, or PAX Unplugged, for people to sit down and play all day. So what we're going to do at Toronto Comicon, we are going to play test, and I'm going to essentially take the final bit of the actual scenario that I've written, and I'll touch on that in the upcoming here in a few minutes, and make it into kind of like a 2-hour event where people can play it and walk up and leave, because most of the players are brand new. Most of the people that are walking up and playing BattleTech Aces with us are seeing BattleTech for the first time at conventions like Toronto Comicon and Fan Expo. Okay, so after Fan Expo, literally the weekend after, we will be at Adepticon. We are hoping to roll out Aces Legacy there. I am not sure what the details on that are going to be yet. Anything I say would be speculation and a guess. We are still working out the details. If I speculate and guess, if we're doing it there, it'll probably be a walk-up and sign up for players to play. That said, I'll have to go over that with Jesse and the guys, and of course Michael and the members from the team from the Catalyst demo team, as to how we would do that. If players can't pre-sign up, then maybe we will have pre-allocated forces for people to take part in the adventure with, or something along those lines. That's how it'll look. I wish I could give you more details than that right now. Other than that, that's kind of how it looks for Legacy at Adepticon. So after Adepticon, we will be at Anime North, which is in May. That is the big anime convention here in Toronto. It's usually about 50 to 60,000 people. It's quite the event, so if you're in the area, come out and see it. I think it's one of the top 5 largest in the world, if I remember correctly, for anime conventions. And we are essentially the only game table in the place other than card-based games. You got your Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon stuff, but as far as tabletop games or RPGs or anything like that, Fox Network, Catalyst Demo Team, BattleTech, that is all that's there, and we are the centerpiece. Last year we had the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow, was out there with us playing BattleTech. She saw our board. That was pretty cool. We get lots of kids out there. We get lots of first-time gamers, husbands and wives, people with their partners. We have a great time, so if you're there, come out and enjoy our game table. Anytime. We run like 9 or 10 hours a day for the duration of the con, all 3 days. Okay. After Anime North, we will be at SobsCon for the second year. So this is the second year for SobsCon, which is run by the Catalyst demo team here in the Greater Toronto area. Nick Connor and Andre and Dave Weaver and all those guys have put together a nice convention. Last year we had it at Torchlight Games down in Burlington. It'll be there again this year. I believe we had about 100 people last year. And, of course, Randall showed up, and I had Big Red here because that was the weekend we were filming the Mech 7 Season 2. I'll touch on that at the end of this episode. And there was quite a large turnout, and everybody had a good time. We are going to roll out actual Aces Legacy format there, 100% for sure. There is sign up for it now. If you go on to the Southern Ontario BattleTech Facebook page or into the Discord, you can get a link to register for SobsCon. Any of the events, there'll be everything: BattleTech, Classic BattleTech, Alpha Strike, Aces Legacy, tournament format, painting contest, all the whole 9 yards. We're hoping to get more people this year. So if you're in the Greater Toronto area in the summer, SobsCon's where you're going to want to be at. Later in the summer, we will be at Gen Con at the end of July, beginning of August. Obviously, it's the biggest convention in the world for gaming. We are looking forward to being there and doing, of course, the YouTube thing with Catalyst again, like we would do at Adepticon at PAX Unplugged, and bring you some cool stuff on stream and at the tables. And, of course, we're going to have Aces Legacy there. That's the Super Bowl of gaming, and we intend on coming up with something wild for you guys there, like we usually do. And then after that, we will be at Fan Expo Canada, and that will be the third weekend of August here in Toronto, and that's about 150,000 to 160,000 people in attendance. That is going to be a big con as well, and we are going to be, again, running Aces Legacy grinder tables and really cool stuff. We will make crazier and crazier boards that you're used to us seeing for each event. We want to try to keep outdoing ourselves as long as I got the energy and Josh has got the energy to paint that many models. We will be at it. I'm just going to jump in here to the chat. If I look down, I'm going to look see what everybody's saying. Beskar, how you doing tonight, buddy? And no, you didn't get adopted. I did that DNA thing, and it came back and it said I had an Australian son. That's literally what happened there. Captain Wood, hey, you got your box of Ace and loving it. This is great to hear. And you've been overhauling your terrain table. Awesome. I am going to show you some stuff tonight. I'm going to show you the new table. I haven't switched camera angles yet. I got some pretty cool stuff laid out on the table here for you guys. I actually have the first sortie terrain board for the Aces Legacy campaign that I wrote for Adepticon on the table here. Okay, and I'll show it to you guys, and I hope you get excited about it. And the more excited you get about it, what do I want you to do? I want you to jump into the Catalyst Discord, into the Aces Discord. We want Legacy. We want Legacy. Why? So we get everything registered and then get you guys set up and playing for it, okay? At all the conventions, all right? So that said, after Fan Expo, we'll most likely be at PAX Unplugged to finish the year. There will probably be a couple of other conventions that we get brought into between all of that this year. As you know, Tommy here at the studio, he has the D20 Avengers program for Dungeons & Dragons. They have Fan Expo contracts, so they are at almost every Fan Expo show in North America, and I know he wants to drag me along somewhere in some place with him and as many of our guys as he can. Why? Because everybody loves gaming and everybody loves BattleTech these days, right? So we're going to try to do some extra stuff this year and make appearances in addition to our weekly games that Jesse runs every Wednesday night, Harry Tarantula in Toronto, and the game on Monday nights up at Sir Games a Lot that Henny and Joe are running regularly now. These have gone on for like 2.5 years, almost 3 years, all these games up in BattleTech. So the community in Toronto is rocking. The Focht Discord's almost at 400 people, and most of those people are in the GTA, which is great. I love seeing it, and a lot of new players. I mean a lot of new players, and it's exciting to have fresh faces and fresh perspectives on a game that I've been playing since the early 90s, right? 1990. That said, we will touch now on Legacy. Okay, so a couple weeks ago when we had technical difficulties getting Jesse patched into the stream from home, I went over the Aces Legacy format, and I'll briefly go over it here for you guys as to what it is, again, just to touch on it for anybody that may have missed that stream. So Aces Legacy is going to be a campaign format similar to Scouring Sands, like I already touched on. It's going to be pushing the envelope, like I said, on a lot of different narrative levels. So when you've played Scouring Sands, you enter into a sortie. You know what your mission is. You've picked it, kind of like a Choose Your Own Adventure or a Nancy Drew novel or whatever. Those old what was that old Scholastic books they used to get to order, and pick your way through the book, right? And that's how Scouring Sands works. And of course, it's got Rusty Zimmerman's amazing literature that he's written in fiction for the Clan Jade Falcon and that story. And then you, of course, read your narrative waypoints that act kind of like cutscenes from a video game, and you get your narrative fill for each mission, and it fills it out and gives you that kind of that RP experience. So what we're doing with Legacy, exact same thing, except I'm going to push the envelope with waypoints. I'm going to try to find new and creative ways, which I have, to present games to players. One of the things that I've always tried to do when I write scenarios or missions for people to play is I want things rule of cool, obviously, for the boards that I build, but I want them to be a little different. There's always a little slant on things. We always write things that could happen within the canon, but they're almost like they're what ifs, and they don't happen in a manner where it affects the actual timeline in a way where it takes away from the actual main characters of the BattleTech universe. That way we can have something cool happen, and we can have characters that might be kind of big, but they're not really affecting anything. So I am going to do the same thing for the Legacy event at Adepticon and Toronto Comicon. That said, I will change camera angles here for a quick second, and we will go to the game board. So, as you can see on the board, we have a snowboard. Why do I have a snowboard, do you ask? Well, maybe because the next box set, Scouring from after Scouring Sands, is going to be snowblind. So, what we do with Aces Legacy is we're trying to create a format here that utilizes all the box sets that are out there. That way people don't have to always struggle to find individual blister pack miniatures or, you know, multiple force packs and whatnot. If you have the box sets, you can sit there and play just with the box sets. The idea behind that is twofold. Oh, sorry, going to the wrong screen there. The idea behind that is twofold. One, I don't want to build 47 tables if Legacy takes off at Adepticon of terrain and have to lug it with me from Toronto to Indianapolis or to Milwaukee or wherever we're going, Philadelphia if it's at PAX. The idea is you're going to be able to use the terrain that comes in the boxes and the miniatures as well. And we don't want to have to paint, you know, 500 miniatures for one event, so we're just going to use them out of the boxes. But we will have one premier table at every event is the idea. So I will make one cool board, and people can rotate through as they're playing their 3-mission campaign during the course of an event on an event day at a convention. Okay. Now, would it be a prequel to Snowblind? No. So what I'm not going to try to affect anything that's with the box sets. What I'm just going to do is I'm writing stuff that's going to happen in between. So their what if stuff that would be what your mercenary unit. It's a possible contract that you could have taken in between those box sets. Maybe you go from Scouring Sands to the Hinterlands book, and then maybe into this Aces sortie for a contract or whatever. Right? That's what we're trying to do. We don't want to really affect anything that's actually being officially released at this point. We want to do stuff that's in between that gives you something to do while you're waiting for the next box set to drop, right? And we're going to have a bunch of these because we're going to write a new Legacy mission for every convention we go to. Okay, so the first one I have written, and I'll go back to the table here. I'll go to the other angle. Is called On a Pale Horizon. Okay, and what you're seeing on the table right now is I've actually foam sculpted another set of the Scouring Sands terrain. I've just painted it and flocked it like snow. Okay, so we want to have the versatility of being able to use all the terrain from each set. Now, obviously, if you're using your stuff from Scouring Sands, you're going to have to use Theater of the Mind because you're not going to be able to paint it white unless you really wanted to. But in this instance, I have done just that. I've made pink foam Scouring Sands in snow form. Okay, and that's what we're going to play with when we go to Adepticon or Toronto Comicon. The boards will be built the same way. They won't be the same sorties, obviously, but when you look at the mission pack with your game master at the table, it'll open up. It'll look like a Scouring Sands sortie. It's got the same map and the layout and everything like that. I'm just going to go quickly to the chat here and see any of your guys' questions since I'm on solo tonight. Would you know if future Aces boxes build on the previous Aces boxes or standalone within the AS box like Scouring Sands? So each box is a standalone. They are different biomes and they are different stories. So each box set is based on one of the 4 Ilklon era source books. Okay, will they kind of tie together? Yeah, you're going to move your mercenary unit if you really wanted to through all 4, right? And you can use it progressively to gain experience, and that's why in the Aces system you have scalable difficulty levels for the campaigns when you play them. Okay. Why do I have a snowboard? um, I did the snow because I know ultimately snowblind. I'm gonna need the terrain because I want to mix everything together. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write something that's snowy, right? And it was winter. It was near Christmas time, and I'm like, yeah, I had that snow kind of feeling, right? So, hence we got this. That's what we got. So, Paul, I have a slightly off-topic question. What is my favorite force pack? My favorite force pack hasn't been released yet because my boy Marco designed my favorite mech, and it doesn't have a miniature yet. And that would be the Phoenix Hawk Lamb. So that will be my favorite force pack when it does get released. Hey, maybe it happens in a Mech 7 force pack. That would be pretty cool. If we ever got a Mech 7 force pack, Jerry and the guys got one. Maybe we should get one too. Hey, hint, hint, hint. Hey, you listening, Randall? Buddy, pal, friend of mine? Yeah, get us a force pack. That would be cool. Phoenix Hawk Lamb in there. Everybody would love it because we know everybody in the world except Red loves the Lamb. Outside of that, I think my favorite box is, I don't know. That's a tough question. I got to think about that. I'll roll back to that one. Beskar. Okay, what do we got? Any chance you all might sell the Aces AI cards if you want to do your own campaigns? That is not a Paul question. Okay, so just to be clear here. Okay, Paul is Catalyst demo team. Paul does not speak officially on behalf of Catalyst Game Labs, the company. Okay, Randall and Michael and Lauren and all those guys do that. Now, Fox Network is the BattleTech events team for Six Sides of Gaming, which is a same ownership group as Linvander Studios. Tommy owns both. Okay, that's why we're heavily involved with Aces from the get-go. We were the BattleTech guys for the channel, right? And of course, we became the chief playtesters and basically the media guys for it to advertise it and push. Hey, everybody, buy Aces. This is Aces, right? And that's why we're at all the conventions doing all that stuff. Okay, so I can't say if there's going to be cards released individually. Right now, all I can say is, there's 4 box sets coming out, one for each of the 4 Ill Clan source books, and anything after that, I don't know about yet. Wink, wink. Okay, so what do we got? Ray over the Davian's dead body, Randall. Yeah. Hey, you know what? The Lamb is very popular. I'll leave it at that. There's some people that don't like it, and I get that. But a lot of the guys my age were Robotech fans, and that's why they started playing BattleTech. And the Lamb is, it's the poster child of Robotech, right? So Tommy owns Paul. Got it. Tommy wishes he owns Paul. Tommy wishes he was Paul. Tommy wishes he was as tall as Paul, as good looking as Paul, as smart as Paul, as funny as Paul. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's probably watching. He's in Ohio at the first con of the year right now with Devin. So anything I can do to drive him nuts. Like I rolled 3 sets of box cars on his face last week in the dice tray. Speaking of the dice tray, you guys are gonna love this. I have upgraded it. I found a robot camera here in the studio, and I have hooked it up. And I now have. Let's make sure. We now have, so we have the dice cam. See the camera? It's moving. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool stuff. This is like advanced technology for a 51-year-old guy. Okay, like this is pretty cool stuff. So I have the dice cam. It's on the other side of the table, so I'm not going to be rolling dice for you right now because I'm not getting up. I'm lazy. It's Friday and I'm tired. But you have the dice cam, but we can also change it to another cool table view, which kind of does a zoom in here, which is kind of neat. And this gives you another perspective of the table. And of course, you can see we have the network mechs out on the table and some of the infantry there. But yeah, that's my new little technological marvel for the week. I figured that one out all on my own. Devin had to help me focus the camera before he left on on Wednesday night here after they did the D&D stream. I bribed him with a burrito, and yeah, he helped me focus that camera, and we were good to go. And then all I have to do to go back, I just click the button, and boom, you get my beautiful face again, right? So all right, so Aces Legacy, obviously you see On a Pale Horizon is our first Legacy. It's almost done. And I'll give you a little bit of a glimpse into it. Like I said, I try not to affect the actual timeline. I try to create things that could happen. So if any day Catalyst would said, hey, we want to make that canon, same like we did with the Mech 7, they can just, yeah, it's canon if they wanted to, because we didn't interfere with anything and we didn't change anything. Now, I will do one more thing. I'll give you one little hint because it's on the board. I will go back to that camera, and you can have it take. If you look closely on the hill, that is a important mech for the next sortie, or for the next Legacy campaign. So, and if you can see it on the hill there, I camouflaged them pretty good. But yeah, take a quick gander there, and that's about as much as I'm going to talk about the Legacy campaign for Adepticon and Toronto Comicon, because I don't want to spoil it. I put about, right now, it's not quite finished being written. We have to play test it. All the fiction's done. It's currently sitting at about 34 pages for the event. It's very narrative. The waypoints are very, very heavily written to get the players right involved into it. And one of the things I will tell you guys about it is that a lot of the times when you are entering into your sortie, and of course there'll be 3 for the course of the day, when you're heading into the sortie, you might have what your objective is, but you're going to be making tactical, moral decisions that affect and change the sortie in-game. So one sortie, for example, that I've written for like sortie 2, it probably has like 4 different sorties within it that, depending on what you choose to do on the table, will change the sortie, and the game master there will just flip the page and knows exactly what to do. So everybody will not have the exact same branch, but they will have the exact same point values and kind of forces that they're up against competitively. But everybody's going to have a different story to tell, and they might end up coming out of the campaign over the course of the day, having done very different things within the very same event in the very same story. Okay, so that's what I'm really trying to get at with our Legacy format. Okay, Cabin of Wood. It's the White Marauder. The yeah, hey, that's a pretty good guess. That arrives out of the blizzard to save the mech warriors. There you go. Devin is very corrupt. We know Devin is corrupt, but yes, hey, look how good that focus is on my dice in there. And you've noticed I've created a gray, blue, and black dice pool there for the network to roll. So that's the idea behind the color schemes inside there. All right, so there's the concepts of Aces Legacy. Roughed out. It's a 350 point build. We have touched on that in the past, and you're allowed to use up to 20% of your force. I believe, I don't know the rules right in front of me, about 87 points it works out to, of your force can be from a second faction on the Mull list. To give you a little bit of more flavor and creativity, because we do know that players love their headcanon, and everybody has their special characters, and they like to come up with that stuff, and we're the same here. I'm the same. So we've put that into the system so you guys can build those cool units. Okay, now we'll talk about terrain. All right, so I showed you guys all that cool terrain that's on the board, and I touched on this a a couple of weeks ago, like I said on that stream, and I apologize. We had some technical difficulties that night, so I have better camera angles here. So first thing we'll talk about is, you guys saw trees on there. Okay, I got a baggie of trees here, and if the local police force pulled me over and looked at the back of the car, they would probably think it's a bag of weed, but no, it's a bag of plastic trees off everybody's favorite online store. Again, I'm not going to name names for branding purposes, but you can get 2 bags of these, or 3 bags of these, for like $15 Canadian. They're model train trees. They're the cheapest, easiest thing that you can put to make your boards look cool. And I will tell you something, as a board builder and designer, trees and foliage are the most important piece of terrain on any board. They are what tricks the mind's eye and creates that theater of the mind. You're looking at it, you don't realize how many trees are out there in your neighborhood, on your front lawn. We take them for granted. You don't even notice them anymore. And when you build game boards, the boards that always look the best have the most foliage on it. Why is that? Because most people don't put enough trees on the board, and it ends up looking like a bunch of plastic toys on a game mat instead of something that looks natural. And that's because there's not enough vegetation on the board. That's why when I was doing the game boards for Scouring Sands, I was putting the tumbleweed on the board. I was putting those little rocks on the board. And people are like, that's a lot of effort. It's not. It's like, I'm going to the dollar store and I'm buying these little pebbles and I'm throwing them on there, and I'm throwing some lichen on there and some moss. It takes no time to do it, and then you put the camera on it and everybody's like, oh my god, that board looks real. And it's really not that tough. I'm just tricking your mind's eye into seeing what it normally believes it should be seeing. Okay, so trees are dirty cheap. Okay, like $15 for 3 bags of these things. It's like 50, 60, 70 trees. You can put 2 or 3 of these on a hex base. You can buy wooden hex bases at the dollar store, wherever you want, and you can get them online. You get 100 of them for like $10. Literally, just take cheap dollar store glue, put them on there, and you can put your flocking on these ones here on the board. You can see, like I did snow on them. Literally, all I did was I dripped water with glue mixture onto the trees and used white flocking, and you got your snow trees. Seal them with matte seal varnish, and away you go. The bases of all those trees are literally the scrapings and shavings and extra pieces from the hills that I carved out of pink foam. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute, but that's literally what I made the bases out of. I was going to go to the comments here real quick, guys. I found the scale super important. Yeah. Wooden hexes, exactly, like you're saying there, Kermendi. There's all sorts of that kind of stuff out there that you can get for real cheap. Like I went to one of these dollar type stores the other day on the weekend. It was funny because I was on the phone with Tex and we were talking, and he's like, what are you doing today? And I'm like, I'm trying to find snow flocking, because like you can buy the normal stuff from all the different, like, flock companies and model train companies or whatnot, but everybody was sold out. And I'm like, I wanted to find white sand out or gravel to put onto this board, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the pet store. I'm going to get maybe some aquarium rocks that are white. They're usually about 10 or $15 for like a 4-pound, 5-pound bag. And I'm like, okay, well, I pulled up in front of the pet store, and next to it was one of these dollar type stores. And I walked in, and check this out. I got them back here. Okay, so I ended up, I'm going to grab these. Where is these other bags? There we go. I walk in there, and they've got all these like rocks for making your own little flower pots and stuff in there. And there's bags of, where is it? Okay, there we go. These bags of like white sand. And I'm like, these are pretty cool. And you know what you normally pay for flocking. Flocking's not generally cheap. You usually pay about $10 or $12, $15 for a bag of flocking for model train stuff. These were $1.25 Canadian a bag. I bought like 20 of them. It's like I'm making all sorts of terrain with this stuff, right? And this is the stuff that I use. I got little things, and I just sprinkle it all over the boards. Dirt cheap, guys. You can keep it nice and affordable and easy. and it's easy with your kids. If you're getting your kids involved with this stuff, it's so simple, and it looks really cool, and it's a lot of fun. So cheap and easy ways, inbox me or talk in the Discord. I can point you to where I got it from. I'm not going to do that on stream though. Okay. That said, that's the cheap flocking. We'll go back to the hills. I'm gonna go to the chat real quick here. Yeah, you can make the wooden hex bases even. Yep. What do you got? Paul's guys buying bags and trees of white powder. Come on. Yeah. Literally. All right. So next, pink foam. So most of you who have been playing war games for a long time know that pink foam from whatever local construction store that you have. They'll sell this pink insulation foam. You can get a 2x2 sheet of it here in Canada for about $7. That entire board here, this entire board of terrain, took 2 pieces of 2x2 pink foam. So for $14, I made all of that terrain. Okay, plus the $1.25 bags of snow, and I used 1 bag of that. So for $15 and some dollar store paint that went on there, and then I shot a little bit of acrylic through my airbrush to get some of the highlights on the top before I flocked it. I would hazard a guess that entire board ran me about, we'll include the glue, probably about $40. Okay, and that's a full 4x4 board. That does not include the game mat, but all that terrain there, including the trees, maybe $45. Okay, nice and cheap. Just takes a little bit of effort and does not take a lot of skill. And I'm gonna go over why it doesn't take a lot of skill. All right, so the pink foam. This is 2 pieces of pink foam glued together. Just get whatever adhesive. Your dollar store glue will work. You can get proper carpenter's glue. You can get. I use the No More Nails stuff, or the liquid nails adhesive that you use for wood. That sticks the stuff together real fast, and it does not melt it or affect the pink foam itself. It doesn't damage it, cause a chemical reaction. So let it dry overnight, but it sticks together within like 10 minutes. You can start working with it. Now, this, you can see it's got some sharp angles on it because obviously I used a foam wire cutting table, like a Proxon or whatever. That's what I have, and I cut it and I get it into the rough shape that I want. So this one here is obviously one of the hills from Scouring Sands. It's the small level 2 hill. And all you would do with this hill is you would take a knife, just go into the kitchen. Don't let your partner, your wife, or your husband see you do this. Children, if you're watching, make sure you got a parent with you. But go grab the big cutting knife, the one you usually dice up like your onions with or whatever, and you literally just rake it along the edges. Rake it along the edges, and the foam, the way it's together, it comes apart. Well, it gives you that, you can see that natural rock look. It literally takes no skill. Like, literally no skill. Okay? I did not sit there and hand carve these things for hours. I literally raked a knife across the edges of them. Now, I do study what terrain looks like, and I know the patterns of rocks, and those are things that you can do to help make it look realistic, but you can literally just go, and it's done. Okay, so you take those foam. That's a very basic piece, and that's easy to carve. This is another piece that is pre-cut for Scouring Sands. Again, same thing. You can start changing the shape of the base of it as long as you leave the top the same. It's the same footprint. You're golden. Okay, then it won't affect your gameplay for Scouring Sands. So those are basic pieces. I'll put those to the side here. This is more of a complex piece that I've built that hasn't been carved yet. Okay, this here is going to be a top of a mountainside, and this here is going to be an area with a mech bay door, like somebody's coming up from underground Brian Cache or under old Star League defense bunker or whatever. And I'm going to literally do the same thing with this. I am going to take the knife, rake it across, and create that rock effect. And also not just through the edges, but you can do the tops. If I go back to the screen here, you can see on the tops I've scraped it in there as well, because the tops doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it's the same playing surface and the miniature can stand on it. Okay, so once you get more confidence, you can start building things like this. And I'll go on to the next. Now I'm going to show you what they look like once they have been carved. Okay. Before I do that, I'm going to go to the chat here. Yeah, corrugated cardboard works very well, Kermit. You're right. Yeah, the Scouring Sands STLs were pretty cool as well. Obviously, we used to be affiliated with that. What do we got here? Yeah, I'm not a fan of resin printed terrain, only because it breaks easily and it's heavy. I also like crafting it. I like a mix of all things, but yes, crafting it is, I don't know, it's relaxing for me, and it doesn't take long to do this stuff. Like it happens pretty quickly. So the full Castle Bryan board. That you said that, okay, this is literally what I've been doing here. So I'm gonna show you the next couple of things here I've got. So put that one aside first. So you can see these pieces are getting bigger. All right, so that's what it looks like after you've raked it. Okay, and you can see there's a seam there. That's where I've glued the two pieces together. All right, and that's a pretty big piece. Right, that's one of two pieces. Okay, and I got another one here. Gotta reach down. And the next piece here, you can see these, and literally just it's the knife across it, and that's the pink foam. It's nice and light, easy to work with. Okay, next thing you're gonna do once you get it to this stage where you like the way it looks, you're gonna take Mod Podge. Mod Podge is an antique, varnish that you can get it anywhere, any department store, any craft store. You can get a tub of it about yay big for about $15 in Canada, and I've used for all that terrain on the board, and about another 8 pieces because I have done another one of the box sets terrain included with that. I used basically 2/3 of a tub of Mod Podge. Okay, I'll probably use the rest of it. It'll cover these 2 big pieces. So cover it with Mod Podge. The reason for it, Mod Podge protects the foam. The foam does not like anything aerosol. It does not like anything that'll cause a chemical reaction to it. It'll melt it. Okay? Trust me on this. It sucks when you've carved something cool and you've painted it and then you go to seal it with like a rattle can of matte finish, and then you start to see your beautiful piece melt. It sucks. Okay? Some of those pieces that you saw on the table, they melted and I had to fix them. Okay, because I didn't have them completely covered in Mod Podge. All right, the Mod Podge takes about 24 hours to dry, but once it does, it's rock hard. It feels like it's plastic. Once it's on there, you can spray paint it. You can put matte primer on it, any or a finish on it, anything you want, and it will not melt. I was going to quickly go to the chat here for a second. How I got the edge texture, you're going to love this. It's so easy. The edge texture is nothing more than just take the kitchen knife, the sharp kitchen knife, the one you usually cut the onions with your dicing stuff, and rub it along the edges. And it just breaks off. Now, I would strongly suggest go online, look at images of rock formations and stuff so you know where, you can see how I've done the indentations on the top and stuff. You'll start to learn how to do it and how the grains of rock and whatnot to get it to look very realistic. That's just practice and experience, but it's easy to do. We're not sitting here sculpting it like a professional artist. It's pretty much it's as easy as it looks, as I'm saying, and it does not take long. Like, it literally does not take long. The only downside to this technique, it's messy. So you'll end up with a bunch of pink shavings on the floor. Don't let your partner, your wife, your significant other see the mess you've made. Make sure you got a vacuum cleaner nearby or a broom with a dustpan. I have an entire bag in my studio, my hobby studio behind the studio, full of all the shavings and extra pieces. Why? Because I use them to make those little bases for the trees or the little pieces of scatter terrain and whatnot. To keep it all, because it always comes in handy, a month later when you want to make something else. Okay, so that leads to some other things. So here's a neat piece. Tommy always ends up with stuff. I don't know if Catalyst left there. I know this was made by somebody from the CSO team. It was from one of the boards that was at either at Adepticon 2 years or 3 years ago or at Gen Con. It's like a part of a crashed ship. And it's a beautiful piece, and it's been sitting here in the studio for ages, right? And I've never really had a chance to build a board that it really fits with, because it was never designed for, it was designed to be part of a display of something else. So I got this thing, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. A top-end artist has made this thing. I'm not going to alter it, because I wouldn't want anybody to alter my stuff, but I'm going to incorporate it and build something around it so it's modular. So you were talking about the Castle Brine. You saw those other two pieces, right? Well, this is the top part that goes onto it that I've built. And this here would be, I'm going to use it essentially as like the entrance of an old Star League facility. And it fits into this piece, like so. So once this piece gets finished, that piece will sit up there, because you can see all the floors in it. And it's to scale, right? So you got your 7mm guys or 6.5mm men, infantry go in there. But the reason I made this piece, not only to showcase this cool thing that we can use it in live gameplay at a convention, is when you take it off, I have the inside. You can put all your infantry and your tanks or whatever coming out of there, right? So that's your Castle Brine, right? All those giant pieces will be put together to go in snow. That'll match up all this stuff. That'll all be on the board at Toronto Comicon. I don't know if I'm going to be bringing that big of a board with me to Adepticon yet, because we don't want to add anything that's not in a box set to any of those missions. But for the playtest, I'm going to build a cool thematic thing. All right, so those are some ideas. That you can run. I think my phone just died. That you can do for crafting things. I'm just going to bring this up on the phone here. And so if you got any questions here, I'm just going to open up the chat on my phone because my laptop kicked out on me. I think we're going to call it fairly soon. It's 8:15. I do have plans tonight that don't involve Jesse, and it's rare. I'm not going to have my sub with Jesse tonight. We always have our dinner date together, and I do actually kind of miss him just a little bit. One of the things, though, hey, I showed you guys the dice tray. So on the dice cam, unfortunately, you can't quite see it there. But we know Jesse has tiny little T-Rex arms. So I did make a couple of rakes so he can reach the dice. Just so you guys know, you won't have to see him struggling to reach the dice in future episodes. Why? Because I love my buddy, and I am always thinking of his best interest and his struggles. They're always in my thoughts. So if you guys have any questions, I'll gladly answer here for the next 5-10 minutes, and then we will call it an evening. What is the hardest piece of terrain that I've made? That's a good question. Let me think about that one, Bez. Most of it, I'll be honest, I want to do things as easy as possible. So I'd say the most difficult one, we did that aircraft carrier last year. And Les and I did that, and that was a 3D print. But even putting that 3D print together, because the thing is to scale, it's 48 inches long. It's the size of a small child. We had to glue it together, but then we had to do all sorts of body work with it. I was sanding this thing for 4 or 5 days. It was, and then painting it, not as easy. sometimes painting smaller things is a lot easier than painting something that's that large, because like it's Les did a round on it, I did a round on it, back to him. Like that was a lot of work. And we had the other two ships. We had the destroyer and we had the frigate, and like the sanding and the auto body filler on those things was like intense. Like that was, and to me personally, at this point, like I still think they need another like 15 hours worth of work on them if I was to put them up as display pieces. They're great as game board pieces, but like if you wanted to put them up in a hobby shop or whatever, they still probably need another 15 hours worth of work. Like to really get them fine. How did you get the Castle Brian piece to mold into the foam? Oh no, I didn't even not even that. I literally measured around it. So I'll grab it out again. So I had this piece sitting around the studio that I kept seeing there, and I've wanted to use it for something for so long. I literally just traced. You could actually see the marker a little bit on the thing there. I traced it, and then carved out the pieces. That's literally what I did. That's two pieces of pink foam together. I made a little entrance, and I put a piece here to block your eye to be able to see inside, and I'll carve that as well inside. And then you can place your infantry units inside here. They can hide them, and you can pop this on and off, and it just put it in there and fit. Like it literally took 10 minutes to make it. Like it did not take out. It was not tough. What else you got here? Are you going to release the Legend sorties after the associated con is over? This is the golden question. Yes. How? I don't know. To be determined. Do I want it out there? Absolutely, 1,000 billion million %. I want you to have the stuff we've written. I just have to figure out how that works. Okay, whether that's officially through Catalyst. I don't want to release anything on the side. That's not my MO, right? So probably if a deal or whatever is reached to do them with Catalyst, probably would be the way I would like to see that happen. As fan content, I don't know. I don't want to rock the boat with anything, but I want you guys to have cool stuff as well. So that will be decided not by me. Okay, so it will get out there to you in some capacity. I just don't know how yet. Okay, I assure you, you will have cool sorties. I just don't have the answer, and I'm not the one that's going to make that decision. Okay. At Six Sides of Gaming. What do we got? Where did you get the STL for the aircraft carrier? That stuff I can't really talk about. I know it's a terrain piece, but they're not tough to find. There's a lot of World War II stuff out there that you can get. You can find that stuff to make those big, cool terrain pieces and features on your game boards. Shrapnel, maybe. Hey. All sorts of ideas. It's not for me to decide. I put it out there, and other people will tell me what they want to do. Okay, that's where I gotta that's where I gotta leave it. And in the meantime, though, you get to play them and you get to watch them on the series on the show here, because we are going to run legacy format stuff here on the channel as the campaign. Okay, so we play it at a con. It'll appear on the show. We'll write one specific just for the show. Joe's busy doing that already. We've already got like 4 or 5 of them done. So there's lots of cool stuff coming. Yeah, hey, you guys want to see it? Put your hand up and ask, right? And say, hey, we want more stuff. And right, the more people ask for stuff, then possibly, hey, you get it, right? Squeaky wheel gets the oil, or gets the oil, kind of thing. You know, you get what I'm saying? What else we got? See, I'm getting old, and now my eyesight is not the same, and I've become accustomed to using these drugstore reading glasses when I paint, And I've switched to the phone from the computer because the battery died on my laptop, and I'm squinting to read what you guys are asking. Well, I think it's almost 8:25. Ready to call it a night. I'll give you 3 more minutes if you got any more questions, and I will answer them. Otherwise, I'm going to call it an evening. Plan is for next week. Jesse's back. We will finish off the little bit of paperwork for the campaign, and then we will set things in motion to begin the new contract that the network's going to go on. But we want you, the viewers, because it's your unit, to interact with us on that and how you guys want to progress. And I appreciate everybody here. Again, if you're in the Toronto area, Monday nights we are up at Sir Games a Lot in Barrie with Henny and Joe. They're running their weekly Mercenary Mondays. And again, Jesse and Scott and Avalon are at Harry Tarantula in Toronto on Wednesday nights. Go out there and have some fun. Matt and Stuart as well are putting in a lot of volunteer work, getting the Aces stuff going and getting the classic games going up there. Really appreciate all the effort everybody's been putting into that and helping build that community. Again, like and subscribe. Comments in the comments section helps the algorithm. Appreciate all donations you guys always make to the channel. Everything goes back into the channel to help make all this cool stuff that we have here, and it helps feed Tommy once a week, kind of, so to speak. Tommy, I miss you. No. Yeah, I miss you. I don't know. Anyways, have a great weekend, everybody. It was great seeing you. Great talking to you. If you have any more questions, Fox Hyperpulk Discord, Six Sides of Gaming Discord. Throw the questions on the comment section. I'll be on there to answer them. Jess will be on there to answer them. Tommy will be on there to answer them anytime you want. With that said, have a great weekend. Stay out of trouble. Stay safe if you're in the storm belt, and we will see you next Friday. Balls out.